So what about housing prices? It seems like this is a big discussion today, and it really gets down to a supply and demand formula. If you really look up the data, what you're going to find is lumber prices peaked at about 2018 as a consistent price. There were a few peaks after 2020 with building and demand basically transporting the lumber to your local area for building a home. But overall, the price of lumber today is a little less than it was when it peaked in 2018. So we can't really say that the commodity cost of building a house has really affected the home prices. As I've always said, everything's a supply and demand. And I think I might have an answer. It's hard to really prove it right now factually, but there's some conjecture out there regarding this that what's probably happened when you look at the overall scale of how many houses are available to the population. And the truth is that the housing units per capita, in other words, there's more houses per 1,000 people now than there was in the year 2000. So we can't really say that the population has grown enough to overtake the number of houses that would be on the market and be available. What I think it is that the Airbnb and the VRBO rental properties were expanding, and they took a lot of single-family houses off the market. In my neighborhood, I know of at least 2 VRBO rental properties. And I talked to the guy, and he said, yeah, the cost as far as mortgaging it, interest rates were low, and that if he only rented his house like 6 or 7 days out of a month, he would be breaking even. And obviously a VRBO or an Airbnb, a lot of times that's an extended rental. But as everybody always wants to blame Wall Street for this, I think it's a lot of individual investors that says, hey, this makes sense. I list my house and I have people staying in it and it all works out. But interest rates went up and the cost of these houses went up. So currently it's a bad time to start getting into that business. Now, it's not as an efficient business model as, say, a hotel. I talked to somebody that's recently stayed at a Airbnb. They got charged $35 a night for a cleanup fee. They were there 4 nights. No one came in to put new towels or anything like this. This is what I'm talking about. Once that price gets up there, then you're going to have a lot of people looking at the alternatives as, hey, a hotel is a little more convenient. A lot of times they have a pool. And it's more efficient to manage the property. So we may see more and more of these properties come on the market as the number of people renting these properties goes down, which is what I'm kind of assuming it's going to be. Now, it's not only, or not always, easy to track. That's why I said the verdict isn't out yet, but I believe a lot of those properties in the single-family homes under an average real estate price are what got bought up and drove that market. So we'll see in the future. We'll see how it kind of plays out in the next couple of years, but I think you're going to see a lot more houses that are more affordable coming onto the market in the future. And that is how I see it today.